switch gears a little bit. Last week we talked about a fight on the bus. We actually showed you videos. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that. That had the whole city in an uproar. I know it was pretty chilling for us to witness. These were children, kids, 12 to 14. Now, some arrests were made, and the department recommends felony charges. But on Friday, you announced a plan to step up enforcement on the county bus. Do this. Tell me what that plan is, but also talk about why do you think, why is this happening? These are kids. What is going on?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of dimensions to that. And first and foremost, I mean, the county bus system may be the county bus system, but the riders of Milwaukee City depend upon it. I mean, it's a critical part of our social and physical infrastructure. It's got to be seen as safe.
We have a good county transit system.
We have a good county transit system. I think one of the challenges is, and please take this in the spirit in which I offered it, you know, the challenge for us in the business is, you know, we can't produce data that can demonstrate patterns and trends, but one dramatic film can undermine public confidence hugely, and as it gets played over and over and over again, it starts to work on the public. The concerns we in law enforcement have is that public safety depends on public confidence as well as public law enforcement. If people use their public spaces, if they use their public amenities, if they use their transit system, informal social control goes a long way when lots of law-abiding people are doing something at the same time. But if for one reason or other they're deterred from accessing their public spaces or going on their public transportation networks, well, then you end up with the knuckleheads and nitwits kind of setting the tone. Now, when it comes to this, I don't want to underreact or overreact. It was important, I think, for us to demonstrate to the public these buses are statistically safe, but you're going to see us on them so you feel safe.
Yes.
Same reason we do foot patrol and bicycle patrols. We want to occupy public space to give people confidence to use them. So that's what we're doing. We've planted a flag. We're going to show the flag. Listen, there weren't always tapes on buses, but I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, and we had fights on buses. All right? So I'm not going to try to say that this is the first time in the history of Milwaukee, you know, critical masses of idiot kids got on the bus at the same time and decided to pound each other. It's disturbing. It's concerning. And as we watch crime data, we watch disorder data. Good time for us to ramp up some enforcement and some patrols immediately after school, especially this week with Christmas vacation coming up. The kids are really getting antsy now. So, you know, we're going to show the flag and settle things down.
Well, I'm sure the law-abiding people appreciate it, and knuckleheads and nitwits, beware.
Right. I've got to take it, though, to the whole city versus county thing, though, because when I heard that you announced this on Friday, I was interested, because obviously Sheriff Clark and Chris Abley seem to be going back and forth about how much money and resources that they actually have. And I'm thinking county, okay, this is something that the sheriff's officers have, or sheriff's deputies have done before. How do you become, okay, let's go ahead and put police patrol on that? Is that a tender, like, political battle to jump into?
Well, you know, with due respect to everybody, I didn't call anybody up first and say this, that, and the other thing. I didn't call up the mayor, I didn't call up the executive, I didn't call up the sheriff. You know, I'm not trying to do a political consultation here. My sense is this. We're talking about Milwaukee here. I don't care whose bus it is. We're talking about Milwaukee here. And there's just so much talk flying around about how desperate and unsafe this part of Milwaukee is, which is the people riding the buses. Listen, you go play your budget games. But I am not a big fan of using budget shortfalls to terrorize the general public. All right, we get paid to protect people, not to come up with excuses why we can't. So, yeah, I mean, we're busy. We're a busy police department. We got a lot going on. We're not rolling in money. But if people feel the need to be protected and feel the need to save us, then we have to see us, then we've got a responsibility to step up.
Is that comment more directed to the sheriff or to the county executive?
I think it's just a comment I'm making observing current events. All right, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of that whole thing. All right, they've got presumably principled differences on how the budget should be shaped up. I will say, from my point of view, being part of a city, I recognize I'm not always going to get everything I want. I'm part of a city government that has to, despite declining tax revenues in a difficult economy, provide essential public services across an array of concerns. You know, everything from the library to, you know, nutrition for, you know, prenatal care to, you know, police work to fire services to running City Hall. They've got to do a lot of things. It's a stressful situation. My obligation is to make my best case for my needs, but also recognize that if other needs are properly funded, that has an effect on me too. Okay, to the extent that schools are properly funded, that's going to have an impact on what I do in police work, and so on and so on and so on. So I just, it's important for us to recognize that, you know, we're not always going to get everything we need, but we still have an obligation.
Everything is kind of interconnected. Let's talk about the